Welcome everybody here to your broadcast of the Dota 2 Champions League. I'm your host, TobiWan, throughout most of the season, now here through the playoffs as well. We're doing our winners bracket semi-final. I say winners bracket, it's actually a single elimination bracket. The way it works is if you manage to place yourself in number 1 position, you got yourself a free auto berth into the semi-finals. However, if you did not, you had to fight your way through a quarterfinal matchup in a best of 3. Of course, one team in this matchup had to do that, and that was Team Liquid, able to triumph over the Fnatic boys 2-1, and now they go up against Alliance. Alliance looking very, very shaky of late. It has definitely not been a smooth and easy ride coming in for these guys. As I realized, did I actually not put their thing in there? No, I didn't. Anyway, I have the Liquid team profile available for our viewing pleasure. These guys, they also had a very, very rough weekend. For those people that were watching it, it was over on the Dream League live stream, and I was there streaming that out from DreamHack. And let's just say things were pretty rough. But we're here now. And Liquid, they could look at this as a whole new kettle of fish, a whole new world to start up right now. Up against Alliance, it is going to be, a testing time for both these teams. Obviously, everyone's now back home and hopefully rested up, but yeah. Alliance were pretty tired throughout most of the DreamHack weekend. Team Liquid as well, because most of us only got back yesterday. So there wasn't really a lot of time just to turn around to sit down and then focus on this game. But either way, we are going to kick ourselves into the draft, and we'll see who is capable of standing their ground against each other in this best of 5. So again, we have ourselves with another best of 5 matchup. So if you haven't got yourself a good beverage, I suggest you go find one right now and start, well, I wouldn't say start sculling, because then you have to have a toilet break halfway through the first game. And then that's just going to be, well, you missed out on something. You know you will. It's just like a movie. You walk out, it's like, damn, I need to go to the toilet. Nothing's really going to crucially happen here. Walk out, come back, and then it's like the most awesome fight of your life. Yep. Well, right now, we will have ourselves some nice, awesome fights as the plan. As Elder Titan's going to be the first pick up here from Alliance. So they've already got an insanely strong laner. While Team Liquid, they go with a large level of control and safety. Chen as well as the Bane coming up. So we've got Disable Control. We've got Fiend's Grip. Also Control Initiation if we do want to see that Mirana come up here from Team Liquid. In fact, there we go. S4's already reading my mind and takes it out of the pool. And Chen was already in there too. So we had multiple setups, be it through Troll Traps or be it through Nightmare. But the Nightmare into Arrow combination, nobody can really, like, even if you think the team is never going to connect with an Arrow, you still can't allow it to happen. So Mirana will be taken out, and Alliance go with the Crystal Maiden and the Elder Titan. So Crystal Maiden, the money bags of last weekend, all the money in the world. All you got to do is just sit inside that jungle, frostbite and farm. Oh, but then again, none of the teams really do that. They rotate out. They look for kills. They look to be aggressive on the lanes. That's what Crystal Maiden does offer very early on. Level 2, you've already got yourself an AoE nuke as well as an AoE slow, plus a single target frost, which also does damage. Like, it's a stun which does damage. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to have her near the lane? DK as well now going to be banned out here from Alliance. They're just taking out the consistent heroes of Team Liquid. Probably also realizing in the later portions of the game with the DK, you, of course, already have high levels of armor up on him, and his regeneration for the Dragon's Blood, of course, both coming from that, make it very difficult to kill him off. You want to add a Chen heal at the back of that, then a Nightmare, which may allow him to escape out from a little bit of damage. You just don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. And then it will also add another stunner towards the lane. So I don't know if Way Too Sexy is going to read into this. He is actually in the drafting slot right now, but I got a funny feeling he's not the one doing the draft. Doombringer will be the ban out, and they take the OD straight away. So little to no hesitation in selecting the OD. But with the Doombringer being banned out, I'm wondering if they're also considering the Timbersaw offlane. Alliance might just pick it up now to block the pick. But just every time you see that Doom, that's the reason why. I don't know if people like noticed it over on the weekend, sitting there casting with Draskell, and Draskell's like, nah, they won't pick up the Doom till later on. I'm like, nah. Every time you think you will pick up a Timbersaw or something along those lines, you want to 100% ensure that that Doombringer is out of the pool. He cannot be in the pool. Because if he is, you just won't be able to move at all. Like, you get the hero entirely shut down. OD in a way would also have the same problem. If he does get silenced, there's just very little he can do. That's why both the Puck and the Doom are such clever bans here from Team Liquid. They realize that the key to stopping them is obviously going to come through, like, it comes in multiple angles here, but if you're able to get that silence off from a puck, an OD then does no damage during a team fight whatsoever. Bane may not be able to get the Nightmare off, or the Fiend's Grip, or even possibly looking to get just the Brain Sap to keep himself alive to fight a little bit longer. And then you got the Dream Core to take into account as well. So it's a good area of effect, so even the mini stun's enough reason to trigger it to stop Bane's ulti from just holding one of your core heroes in position. And you do know they, like, what Alliance want to run here, but they're really, like, holding themselves back from doing so. And that's the fact that they want to try and run the Lifestealer. Time and time again, they want to do it. With this lineup, I got a feeling that we could be looking into an anti-mage instead from Alliance, just to go something a little bit more defensive. This is the first game of a best of 5, so I got a feeling everyone's just going to want to warm up. Actually, they say no. Oh, I kind of wished, I can't believe I was actually asking for an anti-mage above a Weaver. And actually, I want an anti-mage above a Weaver. I get really sad with most Weavers these days, just because it's depressing. It's really depressing. I'm not a massive fan of the hero, but I am a fan of him once he gets farm. Then nothing can stop him. But he needs to be able to get that farm. And when you do run a Chen on the opposition, I suppose Alliance is going to be feeling a lot more confident in their top lane for the fact that you can't contest the Weaver directly. The other way of running the Weaver is by putting him in an aggressive tri-lane, and that's when you start... the Weaver's a lot more effective because he can be very, very aggressive in the early stages. I always like using Eternal Envy's Weaver as a bit more of a guide for off-lane Weavers, where you can actually do it with just 2 to start with until he gets closer towards like level 5, and then you can back off your support hero and just let him crack the level 6, and then he's all good to go. But it's the level 5, so you get the 3 levels up in Shikuchi, and you just harass the enemy hero out of the lane. So you can leave him on the top lane solo. The problem is that that kind of way of play was done before the changes to the lanes. So with the changes to the lanes, it's not as easy to do right now, where they used to run him on the safe lane for the Dire side. The creep wave comes a lot closer towards the tier 1 tower now, but you can still do it on the off lane on the bottom. The only issue is looking out for all these wards and everything else that are coming your way. Storm Spirit's now going to pick up here from Team Liquid, so they're really stacking up their hard farmers. Like, Chen needs farm to get a mech. Bane doesn't actually really require that much farm as far as gold goes, but levels-wise, he needs to find that level 6 and have space for it. Then you got the OD. He also requires a large amount of farm. The more farm on both experience as well as money he has, the more he keeps his intelligence pool and mana pool up higher, and then just burning the living crap out of Alliance. That's his key thing. And then you got Storm Spirit. Now, Storm Spirit basically requires an Orchid to be massively effective. So they've got to bump up their lanes for this one. So this could be an OD safe lane. It could also be a Storm Spirit safe lane. With the Kunkka coming up, I got a funny feeling that Liquid is going to play Silly Buggers with them and then just move the Storm Spirit in towards the middle lane. Because Kunkka is meant to go up against the OD. That's the plan right there. That should be S-Force Kunkka, it should be Loda's Weaver, and then maybe Bulldog can play the Elder Titan, but I know he's not a massive fan of it. The Alchemist banned out by Way Too Sexy, so he's actually already feeling that that's the 3 cores out there from Alliance. Lifesteal's the last ban out here from S4. So he's thinking about the off lane. We did see Havors do it rather successfully over the course of the last weekend. We just throw the Lifesteal towards the off lane. You'll even with one extra supporter like a Bane, you got Nightmare to get your carry out of trouble. There's no problem whatsoever with that one. And then Chen would just be in the jungle. Storm's fine by himself on the off lane. It just depends exactly who.
10 seconds remaining.
I say off lane too. I'm meaning like bottom lane for Team Liquid.
Remaining.
But I'm wondering, I am really wondering, Way Too Sexy, who's going to be their last core? Because they're still going to be thinking about an off-laner. Up against this lineup, they wouldn't really want to try and crack into a Timber Saw. The danger of just being burst damaged down by the Kunkka before reactive armor ever kicks in is probably just a little bit too high. And the Elder Titan's one of these guys too that's already going to try and level that playing field. So Way Too's got to find a different core to come into this lineup. He's already got a hell of a lot. In fact, all 4 heroes, they be ranged.
10 seconds remaining.
They also will all be looking to spam out a lot of their abilities. And we're going to go with the Jarus. We go with the 5 ranged heroes.
Alliance's turn to pick.
And we get the guys who never touch the ground. I think that's the lineup. Jaro hovers. Storm Spirit, well, he sometimes puts his feet on the ground, but it's only just so he can leap himself back up again. OD rides his Obsidian Destroyer while he's the Outworld Devourer. Bane hovers, and Chen's got himself a mount. So the people who will not tarnish their feet. This will be the Team Liquid
10
lineup.
seconds
While
remaining.
Alliance, they're the team with a lot of feet. Mainly coming from the Weaver.
5
Then we've
seconds
got our
remaining.
Master Kunkka. And one more to go with it. And we're going to go with the Abaddon as the last selection here. Now, yeah, Loader's going to be the Weaver. There was no question about this. Does S4 take the Elder Titan here? EGM's on the Abaddon. Now, I instantly assume it should be of S4 on the Kunkka. It is. I was just wondering if they're going to try and screw around with their lanes. Bulba picked up the OD. And that's kind of like a big flag right there to let you know how these lanes are all going to come together. So with S4 on the Kunkka, so mid solo will be, it should be Kunkka versus OD. There is the old thing, I say the old thing, it's the classic, it's the
10
classic
seconds remaining.
thing that Liquid would like to do, which is where they switch up their lanes. Just
5
depend, like
seconds
they're not
remaining.
really locked into each of their lanes because of the player that's playing the hero. They're actually quite dynamic in that regards. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly where they're going to end up. Oh, wow, it's so good to be controlling camera again.
Prepare for battle.
Let's just hope it doesn't pay. It pays off. So let's check out our lane. So Bolt will be heading towards the middle lane. Null, Talisman, Healing Salves, and a couple of Tangos. So he'll be looking to get into that bottle. Obviously, with the changes to Outworld Devourer, it's not as great anymore to run him in that middle lane with just like the Tranquil Boots and things like that because items don't trigger the Essence Aura anymore. So going the Buckler and going the Tranquil Boots doesn't ensure that you'll always have 100% mana. So up towards the top lane, it will be way too sexy. And of course, the Gyro, this is kind of like the weirdest selection you could have. Having the off-lane Gyrocopter. It's not something which I've seen recently, or at least my my old brain is being able to remember. But it will be Gyro on the off-lane. Quote for will be the bottom lane as a Storm Spirit, babysat by the Chen. That
30
Chen's main
seconds
objective
to
is to
battle.
keep tabs of his jungle and make sure he's got his jungle. As you've got the Sentry Wars just down here. You know that's what he's going to be looking for. The Observer Ward's coming out from Alliance. But Alliance making no attempt to try and slow them down, to try and contest them. In fact, Loader as well as EGM is going to focus on the lane. So they're going to be the Weaver as well as the Abaddon. The dual lanes coming out from both teams. S4 will be in the middle lane up against the OD. Now, this isn't really a bad lane. I remember I was talking to, it was Clairvoyance who I was discussing this with. And he is always saying that Kunkka should lose the lane against OD every single time. And then directly after that, with the next three professional games that we broadcast together, the Kunkka beat the OD hands down. Because the OD it was too much harassment damage. And that's what Bob was expecting. That's why he's got the Tangos in the south. He knows he's going to take a lot of damage here from S4, and that's why I was calling Bottle pretty early on. Last lane is going to be RK as well as Admiral Bulldog top lane. So Elder Titan plus the Crystal Maiden. That's a very damaging lane to anyone who wants to come in close. Speaking of damaging, S4 as well as Bulba playing around with each other. While on the bottom lane, Koitfa, it's going to be a really rough lane for him to try and play out. And the Lions were watching him pretty damn closely anyway. But this is the beauty of this lane. Like, this was originally done by, actually, I think was it Roxas that did this? No, it was Fnatic that actually ran a lineup. Not similar to this, but it used the same principles behind it all. Wait, yeah, I thought for a moment he was controlling a centaur as well as a satyr. I'm like, with Chen, that should not be possible. But as far as this off lane, as far as its potential goes, when you run a hero like an Abaddon, which is something we used to see all the time, it allows for crazy dives. Like, you just put the Aphotic Shield up on him, and then you dive on through. When you got a hero like a Weaver, these dives become even crazier, because you're able to have that high unobstructed movement speed, which does damage when you run through him as well. And you got your Gemini on top of that one if you want to attack him. Then you're going to actually deal damage to yourself because the shield will basically pop. So you got all these different things to take into consideration, all of which could result in your death. And Fnatic actually kind of took this one step further when they actually ran this with ET and they used the coddle for spammage. So they used 2 spams and then the ability to dive under the tower. That's what I was... I've still been waiting since the day that strat was run to see it run again, and it has not been run. That was actually 2 months ago. That was 2 months ago that strat was run. I wait for the day. I do wait for the day. Admiral Bulldog's not really having a great time up on this top lane. Saw him before retreating away from a rocket barrage, as well as coming now with a flat cannon damage from TC. But TC's hit 10 for 3, while Admiral Bulldog has managed to go 7 for 2 with 3 creeps coming in. So the CS is still rather even up here on this top lane. And you're still got to remember that this is like an off laner. Admiral Bulldog has to beat Koitva for farm. Koitva 7 for 1 up against the 10 for 2. So that's your CS difference there. And then you got S4 in the middle lane, 12 for 5. So as I said before, he normally should be able to win this lane. You got a lot of burst damage that comes out from the Tiebringer. So Bulba getting these denies it is really quite difficult. The more imprisonment levels he's got up, then the better it is for him, as you see him just racking up a little bit more points now into the damage. But S4 with that Tiebringer, you got a bonus damage of 30. So you almost guaranteed, as long as you can hold it, to get the last hits in. Now, Courier's going to be a little bit more careful about his positioning. Yeah, S4 realized it too, but it's bringing him the boots. So there's your attack from S4. Now he's just trying to attack directly towards Ball, but this isn't really what he wants to do. While up on the top lane, RK should be in trouble. The Chen's finally rotated up, and RK locked into a corner. He's going to eat through the tree line to get himself out through the other side. TC's actually very, very low here with the rocket barrage damage. There's a guaranteed first blood up on this top lane. Chen spent a lot of time rotating. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Koitva being dived into the tier 1 tower. Remember this shield. That's what it's all about. EGM. He's got to get the shield up at Koitva. He got the pull in time. Loader. Shikuchi up. Shikuchi up. He backed out. But he gets the damage to pick off the Storm Spirit. So losing EGM for that is not really what he wanted to have happen, but it was a great timing from Koitva to get that Vortex off, dragging the yellow away just a little bit closer back towards him. And Fluff and stuff, props for his rotation. Now he's going to be coming in towards the middle lane. It was being watched, and now it does get pinged up by the supports. S4's got to realize it. He's got no mana to do anything, though. He sees a haste rune up on top, but he also got a glimpse of the Centaur moving down. So Bulba now gets himself a haste rune. Got to keep our eyes very closely on that OD's movements. Not to mention the Chen. But S4 knows it all. He's moving in. Oh, wait. S4. Haste rune. It triggers. He's coming in. Oh, there's a problem. I got a funny feeling we had a DC. I got a real funny feeling we just had ourselves a DC. Oh, nope. Admiral Bulldog just tactical pausing. But this is real troublesome. The Centaur Stomp's already been used. They don't have the extra control over the Kunkka, but they're moving back and trying to block him in. So S4 runs back down again. He's got high movement speed with the boots. Munches the tree line. Oh, he can't! He needs one more tree to get through. Triggers the torrent. Bob will take a lot of damage here, and in fact, because Nova went out too, it's really slowed down and Fluff and stuff. First body blocking him with a Centaur and then with his body. But the Kunkka does go down in the middle lane nonetheless. But S4 returns. Way Too Sexy will note the pull over on the side, so he'll get all the experience from this pull. But Admiral Bulldog at least is getting closer and up in the levels. He's actually got himself a lot of CS. Consider he's walking around right now with 26 for 3. Loader also with 1 kill, sitting at 28 for 6. So this offlane's looking really great for the Weaver. I mentioned it before, where it gets really depressing with a lot of Weavers who don't get themselves farmed, because it always just looks like they could have been so much more. And now, Loader, he doesn't really have to care too much. Like, Courier flies in. Oh, wow. I know you had a great start, Loader, but I still be hating on you for this. But it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's going to be his faster levels, which he requires because he was part of a dual lane the entire time. So he needs the bonus triple experience. Well, RK, he's really got to try and save right now. Nightmare over on S4. Nightmare got taken away from RK and now swings the blade, but OD had big ultimate there. Able to nuke down the Crystal Maiden. He had 3 imprisonments as well to buff him up before that happened. But if he didn't drop that ulti, if he didn't have that ultimate just then, that damage that came out from S4, in combination with the Crystal Maiden turning around for a Nova Frostbite, that would have actually probably killed Bulba. But he knew how far in he was. He knew he had that ultimate up his sleeve. So he just went with it. But again, we only see a support hero dying. Bottom lane, Lotus diving in. The TP's coming in from the Bane. They got to back up. That Nightmare is just a little bit too risky to try and deal with. At the same time, Gyro running away on that top lane. The Spirit's right behind him. Got a funny feeling that Spirit's already done its damage, considering just how far back Admiral Bulldog is. I had to connect from the very, very start. But this is the problem with the gyro off lane. Life is very, very difficult for him. But we get another hand of Midas now coming up from the gyro. So the off lane gyro grabs a hand of Midas. They're really just racking it up now. All the gold. Loda's already completed his, so it's just going to be the 2 at the moment. S4 enjoying the harassment damage over onto Bulba. He kind of wishes that bottle was there, but instead he's actually flying in a salve. We don't get the bottle coming up from S4 right now. I've got a funny feeling too, because considering we're 7 minutes 30 into this, if we're actually ever going to see the bottle. Middle lane, Koitfa. Yeah, it's at level 6. No X marks spot over on S4. Obviously, it's easily dodgeable too as the Storm Spirit. Just got to get the timing right.
Denied.
S4's going to be really careful now. That's 4. No, it's actually only 3 points up in the. I thought Bulb was actually a higher level than that. 3 points up in the Essence Aura, but he still desired to put 1 point up into the Arcane Orb. Looking for that extra little hit damage. Lets you get some. Oh, okay. I don't think he realized the Quake was right next to him. He had to Frostbite him first before he dipped this. Now the Spirit, the Frostbite, the Nova as well. Remember how much damage Quake was going to take from this one. Admiral Bulldog, he's got 40 bonus damage. And Quake was already running pretty low on mana and he uses all of it to get himself away to safety. And this means Crystal Maiden at least has to pop off the salve. I know I normally say 100 gold because I'm used to the old kind of, the old money costs. But still having to pop those consumables of his. Loda's on the hunt again. Gonna find Way Too Sexy, but Way Too Sexy now back in range to the tier 1 tower. He doesn't have his Fiend's Grip up just yet, and he throws the bugs out. I was really expecting TC to be back a little bit further, and now the dive does come in. He's taking damage from the tower, which means the Aphotic Shield's already gone off. The ET ulti actually snapping TC back, and the Spirit also done a lot of damage, and Loda sees it. He knows he wants to get himself in there. EGM, now he's in trouble. Koifa jumping on him. The cooldown's getting absolutely perfectly on him. Tora coming in from S4. The boat's already being used, but the Gyro's picked up the Abaddon. The power of the cooldown, he didn't want to dive into that. But Admiral Bulldog, again with the Spirit damage. He's going to give him more bonus damage coming back into him. But Bulba rotating down. The Spirit will come back into Admiral Bulldog. The question is they try and help him here. Admiral Bulldog, his movement speed won't be enough. And bonus 104 damage, he may not even get to swing it. But he just tries to keep on running, but it was a futile run. Turning to fight, maybe doing some form of damage may have been worth it just then. But either way, 6-1 now in favor of Team Liquid. So we watch the golden experience come up, but it's still rather negligible. It's not over the 1,000 mark. It might update to over the 1,000 mark now that Admiral Bulldog's dead. But until it cracks over 1k mark, that the graph is negligible. Even 1k is kind of negligible anyway.
Invisibility.
That's not something I really wanted to note. I don't want to know about S4. If S4 actually had the ship there instead of farming in the jungle, See, sometimes you got to focus not just on the monies from the jungle. But S4 is definitely focusing on this bottom lane. Admiral Bulldog's going to keep farming it up. But now they spot out TC. It's an invis room from Kunkka. The Spirit's on its way over as well. If it manages to connect, then S4 will hit, but it never connects. So S4, this invis is still going to last a little bit longer, but he's got to attack the creep wave now.
Radiant's bottom tower
Let's attack the creep wave. There you go, wait for the Spirit. Bulb. And try and bring down that tower. While up on top lane, Liquid are getting prepared to jump. Koifa with dust as well, so they want to try and grab Loda, and there's a jump in. Fiend's Grip as well. They got the dust off in time, so Loda held in position, set a blast as well. One last Vortex, EGM trying to get there in time to give him both the shield as well as the heal, but just the TP taking just a little bit too long. RK also coming in to help out. The upside for Alliance, bottom tier 1 tower is now down, and we still see Admiral Bulldog getting more and more farm. And Weaver, even with this death, still holds the highest net worth. Not for much longer while Bulba continues to farm up this middle lane. This last creep and he'll have a higher net worth. Yep, there it is. So looking really, really good for Team Liquid right now. They got rotations working nicely. Fiend's Grip might go on cooldown. One thing to just keep your eyes peeled on is these cores of Alliance. To see how many times they've died. Because right now, I'm still looking at a Weaver who's a 1-for-1. Like, that's not too bad. The OD's looking fantastic for Liquid, and as far as their cores go, 3 for 0 on an OD with 58 for 27. No wonder it's at the highest net worth in the field. And then you got a hand of Midas Gyro. No deaths for him, and he's 2-0. So you got two very big cores coming up from Liquid here in the mid game, and Light's going to really struggle to try and deal with them. Even with this Weaver, as this is again the downside about the Weaver. You need more time for a Weaver to farm up, and more space for the Weaver to farm up before he's really as effective. He's got the same amount of net worth as the OD, but OD is insanely powerful during the fights right now. Storm Spirit jumps up, he gets for the one slow and Admiral Bulldog, and then she's going to use the Fiend script for this one too. Torrent's on the way in, but it's in between all the Liquid heroes. Boat flies in as well, only it's on the Chen army. The Hand of God keeping way too sexy alive a little bit longer. The Nightmare, pain in the ass, Abaddon will have to take it, and Arcade will drop the ulti down to ensure he does not escape from this one. Quaver's in the tree lines. He can TP himself out if he wants to, but it's Alliance who are doing the TPs. As S4 comes in towards the middle lane, he gets imprisoned up the second he arrives, and Bulba, well, he's got ulti right now. He may yeah, he's got this. One more attack, S4. Oh, 9 HP, 9 HP. He will survive on. If I was Bulba, I'd be spitting chips right now. That was so definitely a kill. That should not have been robbed from him. But S4 will walk back to base. The T1 tower does not go down in the mid. So I got Ring of Health also over on Loader now, so he is going to go into the Lincoln Sphere build. There's no point putting that into anything like a Vanguard. While TC, we see full Wand as well as Morbid Mask, so lifesteal for now. But it will be the Helm of the Dominator. Allow him to stack, allow him to survive a lot longer during these fights. And he's all the armor he can get when going up against an ET as well as a Weaver. And that negative armor combination just by itself is very, very scary. Down the bottom lane, Koitva. No, he's the man with the space. Still want to see him with that Orchid. As I said, Liquid, they've got themselves some heroes that require a large amount of farm. The Hand of Mice will definitely help to get that, but they gotta be careful. S4, now we go. X, 2 points on it. Ship's coming in as well, and that's the death of TC. The call down went through, but minimal damage, and now they're chasing down way too sexy as well. So Loader, just keep attacking. There's a Nightmare to try and stop him, but Admiral Bulldog hitting with the bonus 80 damage. They get 2 kills up on the top. And now the tier 1 tower to follow through on both the top as well as the mid, but TP support's coming back in here. The Chain Creeper is scouting out for Arcade, but Arcade's over on the side a little bit further away. S4, well, there's Frostbite, so there goes your Centaur. And the Alpha as well with the Nova. So Liquid are losing their auras, and Loader, he's going to back up. Bulba TPing in means he's going to be able to protect that tier 1 tower. And now we see more Midas. We've got 4 Midas in total on the field. Loader uses his and then TPs down towards the bottom lane, using on the Wild Wing as well, but he wants to kill off Koitva. He's got support coming in from Kunkka, so Koitva might consider a jump, and he actually does jump through a long way the tree line, TPing halfway out of it though. I say halfway, the TP actually began over here, and then his jump back down here. So immune for a large portion of that TP duration. Liquid again going to form up here in the middle lane. Ancestral Spirit's not going to make this push any easier, especially when you get that Frost out. TC really hurting on the way back. -9 armor. Bulba's going to look to give out his own herb. DD rune being picked up from the top river. But this timing for Alliance, it's just starting to slow down a little bit more for them, which is actually probably a pretty good thing. You got to know the Titan is really finding levels. Obviously, the more levels you get, the more powerful that Spirit as well as himself is going to get. He's getting more and more farm too. Interesting to see what type of item build Admiral Bulldog will be going for. Considering we don't have a mech on the lineup here of Alliance. Chip, top lane, coming on TC. Gonna fly at the top of him, and he's gonna... Thought for a moment that Hand of God was gonna allow him to escape. X marks spot was already used by the looks of it to initiate in. So Alliance starting to get control over these offlaners. Again, this downside about going to Hand of Midas. You got to know if it's a bad Hand of Midas or a good Hand of Midas. One of those Hands of Midas that will get you to your next item at the perfect time. Which right now for the Gyro, I'm not quite sure exactly what that time is supposed to be. Because he's now going into stats items after going into lifesteal to start with. TP's coming in from the Kunkka. Another TP a little bit deeper down right now. And this one's going to be in a position to strike on Koitfa, who gets picked up, thrown down, and Chen just going to send Koitfa back to base. Got a little bit concerned about him. The army is still there. The Centaur Stomp's going to make it impossible for Arcade to get himself there in time. I think he was almost in range, but they're going to lose the entire Chen army now. This is a lot of experience as well as gold, which can just be claimed. One Sata won't survive. Crystal Maiden will take that one. At least Liquid get out without a bruise. But again, the Storm Spirit being very over-aggressive back behind the towers. So Bulldog just keeps farming it up. 8.7k now is the net worth for Loda. We kind of forgot about him, or I kind of forgot about him for a while. He's just ripping through. So much experience. Admiral Bulldog can be dragged back in again. Arcade. Well, there's your OD ulti. Burns up Arcade, but now in comes Loda with a frostbite on Koitfa. He's very, very low, and X marks spot drags Loda back. That's a big kill as well. They just gave 500 of gold to a Weaver. S4 coming into this fight too. Centaur Stomp over an EGM. Triggers the ultimate for now. Fluff and stuff won't run out. They got Frostbite. There's not really a lot of mana up Arcade's sleeve. He's got to trigger these one charges of his, which he does do so, but S4 not able to save him as Koitfa just jumping through. He's picked up two. He doesn't have much more mana to jump for another one. Enough mana to get himself back to range of the tier 1 tower. But Loda wants to keep diving this. He's still got his time lapse available, but now they've got to break him free. They've got to break him free. The torrent is a little bit too far away. Now it's Loda who's throwing the money back. The ET ulti won't snap anybody. And Team Liquid getting the upper hands in that fight. Especially Storm Spirit. Coming back in again and just cleaning up the mess of Alliance. Well, the mess that Alliance was, they found themselves splitting both sides of the river. Even to a point where the Elder Titan bought back during that last fight.
Tower is under attack.
We now get to start to see where Gyro is headed with his build. Chen will pick up the mech. Gyro is building into the BKB with the Mithril Hammer to start with. Which means he'll have to drop another item here. Probably just the Wraith Band for the BKB. But that's okay. But again, Loda gets to be dead. But he did buy his Lincoln Sphere before he died. So next fight's going to be a little bit more different for them. Wondering if Alliance is going to start to consider Roshan right now. They are on the dire side, and they always there's no massive problem with going for Roshan, apart from the fact they don't really have a great tank that can survive that. And the other problem is too, the Storm Spirit will be looking to jump in. Storm Spirit, who can now finish up his second Oblivion stuff. And in fact, there it is. Doesn't have the money for the Orchid just yet, but looking pretty damn good for it. While up on top lane, Loda, Hand of Midas man. I think he wants more. Does he want more experience from this? I suppose having the 0 mana cost on the time lapse would be good. And he's got his Wild Wings over here on the side again. So Budump takes the big guy, farms up the rest. Means he's not searching for money right now. He's still searching for the levels. Just try and stay in front. And how's that going? Okay, he's definitely staying in front. 15 levels up against a 13, and that's only just a fresh 13 up on him. OD, he's actually almost at level 14. But Weaver's also a third of his way through his level 15. Yeah, back over to Roshan now. EGM isn't the best tank for this. He's just going to pick up his Arcane Boots for now. And I've been seeing Alliance, even with Crystal Maiden's level up in Arcane Aura, it's only level 1. So they find themselves very low on mana during these engagements. Especially EGM, as he has to spam mount so much mana every time he tries it. Every time he triggers an ability. Wait, what? Okay. Observers and sentries going down. I'm going to keep tabs on Liquid's movements through that mid. Don't know if that sentry's in range of... No, it's just out of range of the observer ward. So that should have been spotted. Just like this bottom lane. Like the Spirit's been thrown down here to attack on a Bulba. And Bulba's overstayed his welcome. He should die right now. The Chen army's over on the side, and now we've already got Chen trying to send him back. They need that X mark spot, but because he imprisoned up S4, there was no way to do the X.
Dire's middle tower is
Which
under
means he's
attack.
sent back to base quite
Dire's
safely. They'll only
structures
grab
are
the Chen.
fortified.
Middle lane returns again for EGM. They'll fortify up to try and protect this tier 1 tower. That means also now this tower's within deny range. So both EGM and S4 will
Dire's
deny that
middle
one off. And
tower
that's the
has
first
been
tower
denied.
going down for Alliance, and it's denied.
Dire's top
Kind of want to
tower
bring this
is
up.
under
And again,
attack.
yeah, we're in that negligible area of 1,000. The experience is a little bit higher for Liquid, but
Radiant's middle tower is under
this is something that one team fight will just change around. But the fact that gold advantage is still 1,000 gold in favor of Team Liquid, like that's just because Alliance have also
Dire's
taken the
top
extra
tower.
towers.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
BKB now finished on the gyro. There goes your top tower. This one will be properly taken by Team Liquid. But Alliance are about to get Nagus the Immortal on a Weaver, who's walking around with a Mithril Hammer. So we're going to go Lincoln Sphere straight into Desolator and go for the all-out attack rate. And there it goes.
Has fallen to the Dire.
Well, actually, yep. Loaded with the Aegis the Immortal. Admiral Bulldog will be picking up
Dire's
the mech.
middle tower is under
Short by
attack.
10 gold. But that means Alliance is now hitting their time. 25 minutes in, the Hannemizers have done their job. They've brought the mech, they've brought the Desolator. And in 25 minutes, we'll just see Alliance 5-man this and push down the towers. It looks like Alliance are even being slightly more premature. They just spotted the Bane coming down the river, while S4 runs around with his Haste Rune coming in through the rear.
Radiant's
They'll
middle
see
tower
TC
is
on
under
top of the
attack.
tower. He's coming in. X, Torrent, he might attack, or if he does, he'll take out most of the creep wave. The ET Spirit TC is just so low. Flavasov trying to send him back, and well, there's no
Radiant's
X mark
middle
spot.
tower is under attack.
Use it to initiate again. So we can't stop that Chen send back.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And now the tier 1 tower. Almost a bit of a trade. Koiver has not returned towards this fight.
Radiant's
If Alliance do
middle
want to try
tower
and keep
has
this on an
fallen.
even trade, then they'd have to
Dire's top
TP
tower
back up
is
towards
under
that tier
attack.
2 tower, which Koiver is continuously pummeling into. Admiral Bulldog will TP to the bottom lane to try and defend that one. Full creep wave and a half coming in for that one. Well, it's just a standard creep wave up on the top, but Loader will be up here now to defend it. And if he can get enough of these last hits, we will be looking at that Desolator. Again, we see the Storm ulti to TP. Definitely safety first. Definitely safety first. Oh, chat trivia! Been a while since I got to do one of these. Which player has the most wins in Elder Titan in Pro Play during 6.79 with a stellar 7-1 record? I'm going to need time to ponder this one. Because I'm not surprised, too, that there's only 8 games coming out from it. Because with 8 games coming out from the other Titan, that's even more than I would have expected, considering, well, how often he just keeps getting banned out. S4. Oh, they found it. That's a really, really nice area. Spirit's got to come up, though. They need something to control way too sexy. Remember, he's still got this Nightmare available. Arcade can't get close enough. The Nova, he's in range for it now. And there it is. Slowing him down. X, Torrent, pulls him back in again. Attempted to go the brain step. The arms came up for it. Now TP to the bottom lane.
Dire's
Bulba.
bottom
Like I said, to
tower
find
is
this one.
under attack.
EGM just pops the shield up. Bulba focuses on bringing down the tower
Dire's
first, and the
bottom
rest of
tower
Alliance
has
isn't rotating over. In fact, they found Koitva with no mana whatsoever. He's got one small jump left in him, but Loader, he gets him before he jumps down the hill. Looks like Torrent on the bottom lane wasn't able to catch out Bulba either. But that's, the plan was from Koitva to leap himself down there, and then Weaver could not follow. Fluff and Stuff now is also dosed. Look at that negative armor just kicking. He pops the Meg Charge to keep himself alive a little bit longer. Chikuchi and Hand of God protect himself, but the Gemini attack him with the negative armor effect already from the Desolator quite fully engaged on him. There was no real survival. That's now Hand of God's going to be on cooldown for the next fight. And S4, again, trying to get himself in range. You can see him now leveling up the X marks the spot. This is not something that a lot of Kunkers do, but I can understand why he's doing it. He just needs the range of it right now. It's not the timing. In fact, it makes the timing of the X mark spot a lot harder. But he needs the range because Liquid, with all 5 heroes being ranged heroes, they're just keeping their distance from Alliance. So S4 doesn't have the option, apart from this hero. Koiva jumps in, Arce's dead. The Orchid will break it, will kill him, even if Alliance did try and stop it. And Bulba, now he's got the Hex up, throws it over towards Admiral Bulldog. That attack from Loda, though, hitting Koiva very hard. And then with the ship coming in too, Kunkka with that spray out damage. There's an imprisonment keeping Loda around this fight, but now he comes back into it. S4, 4-star from Bulba. S4, he's still bottling up, now to survive through this one, while Loda, time-lapse! Oh, he does. He's still going to against the Immortal. He's going to kill Fluff and stuff all over again. Another imprisonment will come out. And they just shield him, earn him, and say, Loda, do you want to dive this? There's a Gemini attack flying up. He possibly could have dived that. The imprisonment was still on cooldown. And with the Lincoln Sphere, he actually probably wouldn't be able to control him at all. But Loda will stand his ground, and he finds himself now even more kills. 9-2-3 up on Loda right now. He has literally been fed the souls of Team Liquid. If only he was playing a Shadow Fiend, that would be rather more appropriate. While Arce, are we going to be seeing a slight Admiral Bulldog move from him? A 38-minute Hand of Midas. Right now, we're only at 28. Is that Aegis more about to be reclaimed? Weaver. We assume Reaver. We assume Heart. We assume actually wrong. There's going to be Butterfly coming up from him. Actually, not a bad item to go as well. When you think about it, OD's not going to be going into a Monkey King bar anytime soon. Storm Spirit definitely won't be wanting to build into that. In fact, he's now building into his own Scythe of Vice. So that's one way to get around the evasion. And TC, Mr. Monkey King bar, never going to come. Not at this rate, at least. Like, he's walking around with 3k gold, which is pretty damn good, but he's not able to fight right now. His damage output isn't high enough. And if he is just doing this off lane, I'm going to survive you all. Yeah, that's not going to be as effective. Now this bottom tier 2 tower on this bottom on the bottom lane. Loda will be trying to beat this little sucker down. Aegis gets reclaimed, so he's got this never-ending regeneration of his. But he's already maxed up, so it's fine. I said never-ending. It lasts for a grand total, like an unobstructed amount of seconds. As in, it's not like a normal regeneration rune where if you get attacked, it stops. Top lane TP's coming in. X, Torrent, Koiva's got to jump. So I'm talking about where the ulti is very easy to use to escape from the combination attacks of Kunkka. Because while you're inside that ultimate, you're pulled away, and it is going to be Bulba. I know there's a couple of guys over there in the chat. And I say chat, if you haven't found the chat, go to join.com, and I got it linked over there. It's a simple web-based program, so you don't even need to install IRC. Does it all through your Explorer, but it's over on Cyborg Matt's IRC channel. Until we do see, there's our heart from the Weaver. He did sell it. Yeah, he did sell it. He sold his Eagle Song to pick up the heart. I was right after all. Koiva's in trouble. Maybe. Can't get close enough to him. In this room, they see him jump, but now the shield's going to protect Arce. In fact, there's already the mech charge and the heal, and then also way too sexy Loda. He got the bugs out. One will be sent back to base. That was Storm Spirit being sent back by Fluff and stuff, but Loda's already way too deep in, past the creep wave of the Chen. So there was no way they could use the controlled Admiral Bulldog. How much bonus damage from that? 72, 6 movement speed? Nah, that's actually quite pathetic. Could have been better, Bulldog. Could have been better. Steal more. But this will now mean the top tower is going down. And Weaver's hit the sweet spot. He has hit the absolute sweet spot right now. Liquid don't have anything that can stop him. EGM is basically the lifeline. Even if Storm Spirit jumps in, he'll just pop off the shield. He'll give him life points. He's walking around with a heart and a Lincoln Sphere. 2,700 life points. They don't have the damage output to actually bring down Loda right now. So I'm actually kind of happy he put out the heart, because now he soaks up everything else. Storm Spirit's going to jump in, and now we see EGM. He's going to come in, and he breaks it off. There's your shield, and the Fiend Script does absolutely nothing. ET ulti snaps back in TC. He's already down to a very, very low amount of armor. No more attacks to come out with the imprisonment from Bulba, but Arce dropping down his own ultimate, and that's just slowing down Bulba, not to mention the damage dished out to him. First one to die, and second one to die being the Bane. And Arce, 4-staffing down, Loda gets himself a double kill. He doesn't have the Aegis anymore. He's going to be careful. He cannot time-lapse out this one, but EGM, they're just giving all the life back again, and they're killing. It's a triple kill. It's almost an ultra kill. The full Arce steals it. But EGM was literally keeping everybody alive, and that Koiva jumps back in again. And now he finally gets through the Abaddon. X marks spot. He's too far away. You can't reach him. But Alliance have already dished out the damage. EGM will buy back. This top is basically toast. EGM's running straight back down the mid so he can get back here for the fight. But Loda's Heart's already pulled him back up to 4 life points again. Top racked is gone. And now, great ship. TC's dead. Loda goes beyond godlike. 15-4 right now up against Team Liquid. Alliance rolling with the punches, and we get a GG call coming out. So GG call, go next. Life was good, life was golden, but Alliance, too golden.
Alliance victory.
They will take out Team Liquid in the first game, but this is a best-of-5 matchup, 22-15. It was a lot more balanced before that. Liquid was actually leading before that Weaver then really started to become involved. But that's the whole thing. That is the whole thing about the Hand of Mines. It's all about your sweet timing. You gotta know that magic point when you're like, okay, now I know that I'm gonna hit this item at this time and we're all gonna push together. And that's what it was. We saw it start assembly around like the 22, 23 minute mark, and 25 minutes in it really did kick off, and we saw the power of the Weaver during the team fight. So we talk about when Weaver gets a little bit of space, which he did get done on the bottom lane. We'll see how we go in next game. Team Liquid will be coming back in just a moment to see if they can force this to a 4th game, or will Alliance be in a position where they can go a 3-0 streak? Stay tuned, we'll find out together.